Hello, this is Kerry with Cash Morgan Horses. I'm just starting up the trail on a ride. I told you guys I'd show you where I ride a little bit and why I put shoes on the horses. Currently I'm riding Commander, my 4-year-old stallion, and we're gonna have a good enjoyable ride today. As we go up the trail here, I'll see if I can get some good pictures of what he's actually having to go through. You know, it doesn't take very many trails like this with rocks and stuff that you can break down a hoof pretty quick if it's dry and hard. And if it's soft and wet hoof, you'll bruise them, stone bruise them, and they'll be lame that way. That's the reason why I put shoes on them. I don't know if you'll be able to see how steep this hill is or not, but up higher there's a steeper, more rockier spot. I'll catch a video of that for you. Okay, I'm about 5 minutes up the trail, coming up to a gate here, across a little water, and then we'll get through this gate and continue on up that hill. Okay, we are 25 minutes up the trail. This section here, I don't know if you can tell how steep it is. That's down in the bottom of the gully there. This is a road that's been carved in. There's a lot of rocks there, and then it goes up quite a ways up that way. But I'll start riding him. I'm just letting him catch his breath here for a second. But I'll start riding him up through this. I'll leave the video going. But you can just listen to his feet. You'll hear him hitting the rocks and all that all the way up through this. And there's a little switchback up higher. We'll see if we can get to that point before he needs to stop and catch his wind again. Okay, boy, let's go. Keep kind of zigzagging up through this so he's not going straight up it. And we got through the rocks now. It's a little bit of a dry spell. If you're wondering how high that is or steep that is, I don't know if you can hear him catching his wind. It gets a little bit of wind out of him. We'll pause here for a minute. We'll catch his breath, let his heart rate slow down again, and then we'll video again from here up the next little stretch. Okay, I think he's caught his breath a bit. That was about a 3-minute wait. Up this next stretch, I'll see. I don't know if you can tell. Down the truck's down in the bottom of that ravine where it goes up the other side. So we started down in the bottom of that. Right now it's 4:15. I think it's been exactly about a half hour from when I started up, when we left the truck and I started up the trail. You can still hear his shoes hitting the rocks. And this is one of the reasons why I like these Morgans. They just get in and they just keep chugging along. He wants to stop, take a breath, so we'll let him stop, catch his breath. So, what was that? That was four-minute stretch, and he's already winded again. It's not because he's weak or doesn't have the cardio. We're gaining altitude pretty quick. We'll stop and let him heart rate slow down again, and we're past the steepest part, but enjoying the ride today. I'm just riding by myself again. I do this, I try to go once a week, but sometimes I have people go with me, but if not, I'm not opposed to taking off and going on a ride by myself. Enjoy some solitude and the mountains, the creations that God has created for us. But you know, there's enough at this point of the trail. We've had a dry summer, but if it's muddy at all coming down this, you couldn't help, but you couldn't avoid them slipping, their feet slipping with flat shoes or rim shoes. And that's why I go with the toe and heels, and they even slip. If this is muddy and you're coming down this, they'll still slide a little bit with those. But traction plays a big part in the safety. You want to keep the horse under you, and if they're sliding down a hill and lose their balance, and you actually end up with if they go down and you end up underneath them at all, you'll feel it. It will hurt you. So probably another 3 minutes up this and we'll be to a flat spot, and then we'll decide, do we let him catch his breath and make some more climb up higher altitude, or is it we can go a different direction and it'll flatten out. Still a little bit of climb, but flatten out. We'll decide that in a minute. Okay, I got up to this little flat. I've climbed off of him for a minute. We'll take a look at him, see how he's doing. Starting to lather a little bit under the breast strap. We've broke a sweat. We've got his heart rate up a little bit, but catch your breath. Want to come say hi? You want to right in my pocket, don't you? Okay, I'm trying to decide. I can go through this trail here and then through these trees, and then it gets steeper, or I can drop down this and then it'll head uphill a little bit and flatten out. Where he's not looking too bad, not lathered up too much, I think I'll go through these trees and then head up the steeper part and get up on top before I make a loop all the way around. We'll see if I can video through this. Sometimes the trees get pretty thick and don't want to brush the phone out of my hand, but since I'm just using my cell phone to video all this, or if I don't brush my hat off on the branches. Okay, I'm trying to hold this phone about as straight up and down as I can. If I'm looking straight across that pine tree, my head's about the same elevation as the bottom of it. So we'll have gained that much elevation. If my head's 8 feet high now, being on his back. Just gained 8 feet in just a couple minutes. Now, this part of the trail's not too rocky, but it does get rocky again up here a little higher. We'll stop and catch his breath again. That's about what we can get. Let him catch his breath. Doesn't take a lot for him. Give you a little bit of a round scenery. Try not to go so fast that you get sick. And that little canyon in the skyline up there. That's the one we'll probably come down. It's that gully that's right up in the skyline there. After we make a loop all the way around up top. But that's looking probably at my 7 o'clock angle. Okay, let's go, buddy. We just made another little climb. Up that section. Now that pine tree right there ahead of me, that's probably level with my head. So 8 feet to go there, and it's probably 30 feet away from me. So every 30 feet we're going up 8. Get up in the shade again, let him catch his breath again for a minute. Temperature drops about 20 degrees just getting in the shade. Well, probably not that much. Ears forward. While he's here, I've got a little rattly or paper back here. Doesn't even bother him. Maybe I'll get in the other side and get a water bottle out. Crack a water bottle. Take a couple sips and let him get used to crumple up a water bottle, and he doesn't care. Not a lot of horses you'd want to do that on. That's probably it for a minute. We'll get up on top here. Not a lot of altitude to get up on top, but we'll get up on top, and then there's a lot better view. We'll take a big view of our surroundings. If you make it out this way to the Rocky Mountains sometime and you want to go on a ride, I'd love to have you join me. Trying to look at the tracks. I don't think anybody's rode this. I don't even see any cattle tracks. Not very heavily used up this way. Little shade up here under this tree. We'll stop and let him catch his breath again there. Whoa. Okay. Now there's a better view of probably where I'll come back down. Down through that draw. Okay, I reached up on top. And now you can see a lot further distance. I'm out of the bottom of the canyon. I came up from that direction over there. I'll head, when I go back down, behind those trees is the gully. I'll come back down. There it is. So I'll come down the bottom of that. But I'm gonna head out to that farther knoll before I start my loop. And I'll go out just on the other side of what you can see. I'll get out on the end of that next knoll there and I'll shoot across the other direction and look down that side. Okay, we're coming around. Now there's a view that I love. Springtime, that is all green. But here, end of August, it's pretty dried up. Still hitting a few rocks on the trail. Not big ones here. Here you could go barefoot without a problem. You can still hear him hitting some rocks though. He's not hitting his feet. There, when he hits those, it's a rock. I've been here when it was raining on me, but on those clouds over there, the mountains over there on the other side had snow on them, and then there was still sunshine in the middle. Crazy weather sometimes. But a lot of places dried. There's a little parking lot down there. I don't know if you can see that. Oh boy. Stop them for a minute and I'll zoom in. There's a little parking lot right there. A lot of four-wheelers, side-by-sides unload there and then take off. But you can ride your horses all through the other side of that. We'll drop down under these trees right here. Glad the flies and bugs aren't out too bad today. I didn't get fly spray on him. Just enough of a breeze to keep them away from us, I guess. Okay, we'll catch you around when we get another view ahead of us again. Okay, we have been riding a bit. We're about to drop down this ravine right here. That'll take us back down to the main little canyon going down the middle. We'll just come over here and catch this other trail right here. And we'll drop on down the canyon. I'm about out of battery here, but we'll catch the last little bit coming up this part of the trail. And this will put us right at the top where we split off and we went up. That's the trail where we split and went on up. We just need to get down all this steep stuff to the bottom and down to the trailer. Okay, we're coming down this rocky stuff. I decided to walk where he's just 4. That's a little hard on his knees with my weight and on him. I want to prolong his legs longer than as much as I can. So I don't mind walking down this. By now I'm ready to stretch my legs anyway. If you don't think it's really that steep, there's steeper stuff, but it's steep enough. Somewhere down in the bottom in there's the truck. We'll get there. That was probably the best view until we get to the bottom.